Welcome to SpotLight. It's the podcast that lifts the curtain on life here at Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. I'm Scott.
I'm Tonia, and our guest today, who's joining us, is the Associate Director of Marie and Rosetta.
It's Jordi M. Carter.
Jordi,
Let's
come
do this.
on.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank
to
you.
Wolverhampton Grand Theatre.
Thank you. So it's so great to be here, honestly. So great.
We are so blessed to have you here with us. I was so excited. I was so excited when Scott said, look, we have Jordi in the house. I was like, come on, I am ready.
Thank you.
Ready.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. And we have so many shows come in through the doors and, you know, the cast come in. But this show in particular, everyone is here. The whole company, the creative team. Yeah. And there's such a vibe in the theatre this week. People are just sort of chilling out, or people are just being creative, or just doing a bit of work. And there's just such a really nice feel to the whole place this week. And it's just great to have you here. And I guess we're just going to chat about what you're actually doing here and how the show's got up and open. And,
we're just going to have a little catch up.
Let's have a little chat. So should we take it back to sort of, I was lucky enough to go to rehearsals for this show and see 20 minutes after the first week, I think it was. I think you've only been going for a week, and already what I saw there was insane. And, you know, obviously it's developed so much more now onto the stage, but even just after a week, the work that had been created was sensational. But your role as associate director on this show, for the people who are listening and maybe don't know, they may have heard of the director, but what does an associate director do? How are you involved in the show?
So for all intents and purposes, I assist Meet Tuko, who is our legendary captain. She has done such an amazing job in terms of bringing us all together, kicking off this creative vision. And I guess my role as an associate is to protect that vision when the show opens, when the show tours. So I note the show around 2-3 times a week and check in with the cast just to see how they're doing, check in with the team, see how they're doing. And just to make sure that we are honouring what we've done in rehearsals and making sure that every show we do, we're either stepping up our game or, you know, we know what the foundations are. So the ladies can just have fun and make the show their own, you know,
Amazing. So for you, in terms of this role, what does it mean for you to be part of Marie and Rosetta? I'm asking that. I know that's big, and I'm so glad that you were like that, because I'm feeling that for myself. To be in the presence of such a story, you know, such a legacy. That this story has not been told, not to my knowledge, often. I mean, there's lots of people who don't know it. So going back to the question, because I just went all over the place, but going back to the question, what does it mean for you to be part of such a story and be in the creative team of this show?
I love that question. I think what was always important to me was when I got sent the script and I read through it the first time, my heart was racing the whole way through. This is such a powerful story of legacy, of love, of friendship, of music. And I think to be part of this show, I think is a reminder just of how important legacy is. And I say this all the time when I think about this show, that all it takes is one person to remember your name and remember the impact that you had on them for you to live on forever, whether you're alive or gone. And I think that is such a loud moral of this story in particular. And I'm very well aware of my position as a black man in this show. And all I care about is protecting the legacy, protecting what Monique has put forward for all of us, protecting our ladies, just making sure that they're okay. And just making sure that we're doing these women justice, because this story has gone under the radar for so long. For so long. And there's so much irony in the fact that these two women paved the way for so much of what has come in music throughout time. I mean, we know now that she's been a massive inspiration to people like Chuck Berry and Elvis Presley and Little Richard. And I remember saying this on the first day. I think this is a correction in history, actually. That we get
say that again.
Right. This is a correction in history, because these two women paved the way for so much of what we know and what we love in music, and I think it's only overdue and very necessary and very timely that we have a show that was based in 1946 in Mississippi, but is so relevant to what we're doing today and what we're experiencing today across the world. It's overdue and it's about time.
Oh, it's about that time.
Right.
It's about that time.
Yeah, it is.
For me, Jordi, seeing the creative team makes me stand 10 feet tall. As a creative myself, when I saw you all, I was just beaming with joy. This is so important. When I talk about representation, it's not just a buzzword. We say it all the time. It's not just a buzzword. And the work that we're doing here at the theatre is so important. To have you here in the theatre is so important.
Thank you.
And I just want to know, like, just could you tell us a little? Sorry, I've just took over Scott. Scott, I'm so sorry. But could you tell us a little bit about your journey into the creative world?
Oh my God.
Because I think that speaks volumes and it kind of connects in with what you're talking about, legacy, talking about not being erased, and the story of Marie and Rosetta. It's a story that we should all know, and we don't really know it. And it needs to continue. But before I even go back to there, tell us a little bit about your journey as a creative, and tell us a little bit about some of the work that you do.
Of course. So I want to credit has to go to Monique Tuco for bringing all of us together. She has been a mentor of mine. She's been a dear friend of mine. She has, I mean, you'll see when you see the show what she's done, both cast, with team, with the vision of the show. I think is a credit to what a powerhouse she is.
Definitely.
And I don't think, absolutely. Come on. This is all for her. It's a real honor to be able to continue the show for her. So credit has to go to Monique for bringing us all together. But my creative journey started 10 years ago, actually. So I started as an actor in a young people's production at the Young Vic in Waterloo. And that was so funny because before that, I hated drama. I just hated it. But I think I was in a bit of a rebellious phase at the time. I think I was around 14, 15 when I got cast in that show. And that was my first time working in a professional environment, working with a cast of young people, working with professional directors and artists. And that became an itch that I still haven't been able to scratch.
I scratched it out yet?
No, not at all. And whilst I have stopped acting, but I transitioned into producing after I studied at university.
Oh wow!
So I did drama and film at the University of Sussex.
Wow,
graduated in the COVID class of 2021. So
you were COVID baby.
Yeah.
Well, not baby, but you get there. Yes, yeah.
So I'm still waiting for some of my £9,000 back. But I then went back to the Young Vic as a young associate for a year. So I had residents in there taking part and their creators program departments. So that was all creative engagement and talent development. And that really, again, is what propelled me further and further into this industry. I mean, to be able to observe the world-class directors that pass through that building, to work with community members and professional actors, again, just fueled the fire. I think after that, I then went back again to the Young Vic to train as a director. And that's when I met Monique. This was 2022, 2023. And she became a quick mentor of mine, and I then assisted her on a show called We Need New Names.
Yes.
That was, adapted by Mafara Makubika. And that was a national tour. That was insane.
Yes.
Insane. And in that year, I became co-artistic director and CEO of Boundless Theatre in Norwood Junction, which was, that was a really, really insightful 6-month introduction into creative leadership. And that really taught me a lot. And so, that was mid to end of 2023. I'm just going by timeline now. And then, end of 2023, I think it was the week before my tenure ended at Boundless, I got awarded the Developing Your Creative Practice grant by Arts Council. So I spent pretty much the whole of 2024 just honing my craft as a director, but coming at the practice from a cultural frame of mind that made sense to me. I think it's commonly known that directing is quite a new phenomenon. I think it emerged in the I want to say 1980s, don't quote me on that, please. But it is quite new in terms of the world of dramatism and making work. And I wanted to come at it again from a place of, listen, I'm a black man, I'm from the Caribbean, I want to explore this route of directing and theatre making from a cultural continuum that I'm familiar with. And that has been a really core part of my practice, I think, in terms of, moving into educational settings and moving into more theatres, just bringing that work and bringing that frame of mind to young people and people of colour, just to be like, you don't necessarily have to rely on the way things have always been done to do work that makes sense to you. And I'm a rebel, I very rarely listen to instructions. And I think that has served me a whole lot of good in this industry.
My goodness. You're here.
Yeah.
You are here.
Yeah.
It served you really well.
It has. And I hope to hold on to that for the rest of my career. Just knowing when to diverge when it makes sense and just trusting what I know and what I want to do has brought me to this point, I guess, and I hope it just takes me further.
It's so important for you sharing that story, because a lot of the time the only stories we get to hear from the world of theatre are from the performers themselves. A lot of people maybe think that the only route into theatre is acting or a job on the stage, but there are so many jobs off the stage. So to hear, and you say about this phenomenon that is directing, to hear from you that is a possibility, and yes, you started off acting, but there are so many other avenues to explore that are perhaps more fulfilling and more you get to be just as, if not more, creative in that role.
Absolutely. And again, I have to credit Monique. Okay,
yes.
so this is just a Stan account at this point.
This is standard. This is standard.
I didn't think about directing much at all, actually, up until I then trained on the Fresh Direction program at the Young Vic, which was under Monique Tuco at the time. And then getting to assist her, again, was just my first time being in a room from a directorial frame of reference. So that in and of itself had opened up a whole new world for me. And I say this all the time, I don't think I would be a director if it wasn't for her.
Because?
I just didn't know I could do it.
Yes.
I didn't know I could do it.
That's what that it's important to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's important because the importance of mentors that can cultivate, that can nourish, that can encourage, that can inspire, that can look like, you know what I mean? That can sound like, that can come from similar backgrounds possibly. Do you know what I mean? And for me, it's about, if I see people who know people from working class background, so it's not even just about race. Sometimes you're like, oh, there's the level up there. I'm still working class. But I want some money.
Exactly.
I want some money.
No, that's real.
It's important to acknowledge, our mentors.
Absolutely.
Because there's all different routes. Who says routes though? Americans. There's all different routes.
I think it is.
We're in the black country,
for our
international for our international viewers, there's all different routes.
Absolutely.
So to get into the world in which we start to inhabit for a career, you know. So the
fact that this conversation has sort of moved on to mentors really strikes a chord with me, as we're in the sort of vibe of this whole show. Sister Rosetta Tharpe really was a mentor to Marie Knight. And I don't know whether you noticed this in the room. I imagine
absolutely.
So. Beverley herself seems to have taken on that mentor role with Ntombizodwa in the room, and it's kind of history is kind of repeating itself.
No, absolutely.
Tell me about this relationship and how it works in the room.
I mean, from day one of rehearsals, I think it was very clear that Beverley wanted to take Zoe under her wing, and I think it's been so beautiful to see that relationship develop, them as human beings first, and then even when they're thinking about their characters, they just bounce off each other so well, and they did so well in rehearsal, and I think they are the perfect people to carry this legacy, to carry the story of these two women, because Zoe is a powerhouse. And Bev, we all know is a powerhouse, and it's such a beautiful. I think that's an understated moral of the story, is the importance of mentors. Especially in the entertainment industry, it's sometimes when you're doing something that is unorthodox, it might feel like you're on an island.
Yes.
And younger people might look up to you and be like, oh, I want to do that, but I this is what I come from. I come from a traditional background. Can I diverge and explore this realm of my own creative process? And seeing how they manage to embody that in rehearsals.
Wow.
Honestly, one of my favorite things I've ever experienced in my career. Honestly, just that pairing again. Monika's killed it.
Yes.
But I think you're so right. I think the importance of mentors, I think, is embodied and is so well executed in the show by these two.
It really is, and it comes through in bountiful. It's bountiful within the show, and I found myself whilst watching, I found myself just listening to to Sister Rosetta, and I felt like she was talking to me. You can. I was like, yeah, okay, and literally you're growing, and you feel your. And then I also found myself being in Rosetta's shoes as well, and because I'm in that role, you switch up, you depend on where you are. It's so joyous to watch. It's such an intimate show, but it was big. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like the voices. Talk to me when you first heard them sing together.
Woo!
Yeah. Come on. Do you sing?
Do I sing?
Do you sing as well?
I used to. That's sort of secret talent. But this isn't about me. So
no. But how did you feel, man?
The first time I heard them sing,
you was like that?
Yeah, I didn't have any words. I think these songs are so powerful, and I think the way that George Brandt, the writer, has slotted each song into this show makes sense so well dramaturgically that you can't really tell the difference between just generic conversation and what the song is, because it all just comes together. And I think the way when they first performed it, I was like, this is insane. I mean, even after the first active read through, I was like, okay, we're going somewhere. We're going somewhere.
Let's celebrate Liam Godwin here for a
second. Liam Godwin,
who's taken this music
and
done wonders with it.
Yeah.
It still honours the original. It still sounds like the original, but it's sort of brought it to life for a new age, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Music that's not been heard for a long time as well.
Exactly. Yeah, Liam Godwin, he is our musical supervisor, arranger, and orchestrator.
Okay, come on, talk it.
Again, he has done such a phenomenal job, and he is so dedicated to this story and what he does as an artist. And I think he has been so instrumental in the music that we hear in the show. To the musicality, even with our all-female band.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Even with our all-black female band.
Okay. Now you
sorry, had to add that. Again, just goes to show like legacy is so important, and what he's done for this show has built a legacy. And this is the first time it's been done in this country, so this is the blueprint, and it only feels right that Liam was the one to take charge of that aspect of this story.
Amazing. I mean, I know we're going to have to wrap up soon. I don't want to stop talking to you. I'm not going to stop talking to you. I'm going to find you after this podcast. I'm going to be around you. We're going to be chatting. We're going to be jamming. But I just, as we're slowly coming to wrap up, I just want to say, what's your hope and your dream for Marie and Rosetta? I mean, we know we're here.
Yeah.
We're here for a week at the Grand Theatre, Wolverhampton.
Right.
Know that. We're here for a week, and then you go
Chichester
to Chichester
Festival.
Festival.
Yes.
And then after that, like, I can't bear the thought.
Yeah.
Honestly, I cannot bear the thought. It makes me shudder, because this needs to run and run and run. I know we can't keep running people. We can't but know, like any show that has got such a fantastic legacy and story. So anyway, I talk.
I think my hope, we all know what our hopes are, I think. So we'll keep that under wraps.
Yeah.
But I think irrespective of where we want this show to go physically, I think my hope with this show, when audiences come to see it, is that you don't need permission to dance and sing along and have a good time. And sit in the joy of the show. I think this show calls for that in abundance and then some. And I think it does the story a whole lot of good when the audience feels that they are able to sit in that joy and enjoy what these two women are bringing to this stage and what these two women have brought to the music industry. I think it's only right that the audience feel it is important for them as well, not just, and I think this comes down to theatre etiquette. I think sometimes we are expected to go to a theatre, sit down, sit quietly, not respond and just be passive observers. But I think a show like this is so subversive to that whole theatre etiquette ideology, which is so necessary in this industry. I think that's my only hope, is that when people come to see the show, when you hear Didn't It Rain or Strange Things or Up Above My Head, that you're waving your napkin in the air, or, you know, you're singing along.
We had a bit of that. We had people like really vibing, because I'm telling you, we weren't sitting quietly.
Absolutely.
We weren't sitting quietly.
Right. I mean, these are some of the most iconic songs that we will ever hear in this industry we call music, or even this industry called theatre. So it feels only right that the audience feel allowed to enjoy and participate in that, you know.
And
that's
we did get involved with clapping. We were and the tambourine. Listen, brought me right back to church. I was in the spirit. I loved it.
Listen, every time I'm taking notes during the show, I have to put my iPad down. I have to put it down.
You know that is a good. That's a good time. If you're gonna put the notes down to get involved, you know it's over.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm embarrassing in the audience anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. Like, I'll do it if no one else is doing it. I'll be the only one screaming. I don't mind, because this show deserves all the flowers and all the applause and all the joy it can get.
It really does. You know? It really does. Thank you, sir.
I think joy is the word. This week,
for sure.
Has just been already. We're only part of the way through it, and already what this show, what this company have brought to the Grand Theatre. This has always been a creative hub, and it's always been a vibe here, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But this week in particular, Tonia, you two can vouch for how special this show is. Having Bev home for the week as well. The stars have aligned this week.
Stars have aligned. We have felt rich. I'm telling you. And even when you first started to speak, I was feeling very emotional as you were speaking, just because of the legacy. And this is a moment in time. You know,
absolutely.
That's why we do these podcasts, so that we can cherish everything that we're doing as creatives. And Jordi, it has been a pleasure to have you on our podcast.
Thank you.
This is the podcast, the SpotLight podcast.
Hey, you had it.
Yeah. We do actually do a little something. Should we?
We do.
Let's talk to Jordi.
What are we doing now? Okay.
We do a little something, get the area.
So I mean, this podcast has been going now for over a year.
Just over,
but we still call it a fledgling little podcast. We need to stop doing that, really. But the reason why we say that is because it never had a jingle, and it still doesn't have a jingle.
Oh, wow.
Does it, Tonia?
It doesn't have a jingle for a reason, because we've had some fun.
Okay.
Where we on the show we ask our guests. It's just a bit of fun. It's everybody's put on the spot.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Cool.
To come up with something that encompasses Wolverhampton Grand Theatre Spotlight
podcast. That's it, literally. Anything you can do, anything. We've even had interpretive dance, haven't we?
Oh yeah, Faye from Steps did Steps choreography to the.
Okay.
But you can do anything. You can sing, you can rap, you can talk, you can poet, and we can support. We can
be your backing.
Okay. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Ooh, this is fun.
This is fun. It is.
Okay.
He's bringing you back to the days.
Yeah, it is. Woo! Okay.
Love this.
I need to hear how it sounds.
Yeah. But you can vibe. We'll help.
Okay.
Whatever, you just bring it out, and let's season it up and see how we can support.
I'm gonna remix one of the songs from the show.
Yes. Squad. Is that you?
SpotLight podcast. Listen, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's what you do.
It's not, but it's a treat for you guys. So. Up above my head.
Okay, yes.
I hear the SpotLight podcast in the air.
Okay.
Up above my head.
Yes.
I hear the SpotLight podcast in the air.
right here at the Wolverhampton Grand Theatre.
Hey, you heard? Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to squeeze you after. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for doing what you do and answering the call and stepping into that gap and being you.
Thank you.
Jordi. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Really
Thank you so much.
And we appreciate all of you as well at home for listening or watching along with us. We've had a great time.
Yes.
And we hope you have too. And we can't wait to see you in the next one.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.